From high atop Healthcare Hill in Central Maryland, this is BSN Headline News. Today's top story is Bon Secours holds its Diversity and Inclusion Council Summit entitled The Value Proposition of Diversity and Inclusion. On October 27th and 28th at the Bon Secours Spiritual Center in Marriottsville, Maryland, the members of the Bon Secours Diversity and Inclusion Council met for 2 days to discuss the value proposition of diversity and inclusion. Their objectives were to energize and inspire each other around best practices for diversity and inclusion, to educate each other about the value proposition about diversity and inclusion, and to share the local system diversity and inclusion plans. The summit was organized by Barbara Delano, BC Chief Diversity and Inclusion Officer, and sponsored by Sister Ann Lutz, EVP Sponsorship, and Tim Davis, EVP and Chief Administrative and HR Officer. Guest speakers at the summit included Fred Hubby, President of the Diversity Institute at the American Hospital Association, Judith G. Bryant, Organizational Change Strategist and Executive Leadership Coach, and Bill Anstey, Market Vice President of Diversity and Inclusion, Government and Healthcare Services at Sodexo, Inc. We had an opportunity to talk to one of the speakers, Judith Bryant, to find out a little bit about her presentation for the group. Let's listen in.
My name is Judith Bryant. I'm from Washington, D.C., and I'm an organizational change strategist. So change management or organization development, as some people call it, is the umbrella of the change work. Diversity management, diversity inclusion, social justice work all falls under that umbrella. So it is all about changing culture. So I think for me, I wanted to really get across that the diversity professional's job is an ad hoc job to what Bon Secours hired them to do, but they have what it takes to be the professional around leading change in this organization as it relates to diversity and inclusion.
Well, as a change management professional, you have to be exposed to a great deal of conflict.
Absolutely.
Talk to me about conflict in the context of diversity and inclusion.
I may have a little different view about that. I love the conflict because for me it is where I can enter in and begin to have a conversation to get to the root cause of what's causing the conflict in a person. So I don't look at conflict as a bad thing. I welcome it, and it is a great way to engage on any diversity topic.
So let's take the converse of that. Let's take a situation where a hospital is saying, we don't have any conflicts. Do you see any red flags come up?
Absolutely, because my question back is, how do you know? So when leaders are questioning the process of how do they get to people, because they can't sit down and talk to every person. They can't go to every meeting because, especially like a youth system like Bon Secours, they just can't be everywhere. So one of the best things that they can do is like what Bon Secours have done, especially as it relates to diversity and inclusion, is to have these regional diversity councils, then have it become a really working function of where they are going out and talking to people. If I think about from my experience about what didn't get done, I would say for the council to really be proficient and really to get the experience they need, I want them to go through training. We talked for 2 days, great information was shared, but now the next step is skill building.
Well, I want to thank you so much for
You're
taking
welcome.
the time to talk with me.
Thank you for asking me, and good luck to the system in the future.
You can see the complete interview and Judith's presentation, as well as all of the speakers' presentations, on Iris. Look for the blue tube link under the Resources tab on the BC Welcome page. Diversity and inclusion. It's not just for breakfast anymore. In other news, let's talk right relationships. At the Leadership Conference in October 2005, Bon Secours adopted a set of right relationship behaviors for Bon Secours Health System leaders. Now, that was 6 years ago, but right relationship behaviors hold just as true today as they did 6 years ago. Indeed, when talking about our SQP, Rich Statuto is quoted as saying, And underlying all is our culture, a culture whose keystone is right relationships. Here are those right relationship behaviors again for your consideration. At Bon Secours, we agree to be honest. That means we speak to rather than about each other. Being honest means we speak our truth without blame or judgment. Being honest means we express both support and differences of opinion with the goal of achieving understanding and reaching consensus. At Bon Secours, we agree to be engaged. Being engaged means we show up, be on time, and manage distractions. Being engaged means we listen deeply, ask questions, and provide feedback. Being engaged means we ask for and extend forgiveness. At Bon Secours, we agree to be accountable. Being accountable means we may not reach consensus, but we leave as a team. Being accountable means we do what we commit to do. Being accountable means we support decisions after meetings. Our published right relationship behaviors have been around for a while, but in today's tough economic environment, it is important for us to remember that right relationship behaviors are part of the Bon Secours culture, a part of our culture that will take Bon Secours into the future. Finally, on October 20th, 2011, Bon Secours St. Francis Health System in Greenville, South Carolina, opened its new Pearlie Harris Center for Breast Health. As you know, October is Breast Cancer Awareness Month, and what better way to increase awareness than to open a new center for breast health? According to Mark Nance, CEO of Bon Secours St. Francis Health System, this center has been in the planning stages for more than 3 years and designed and built to bring together the most advanced technology with our mission of compassionate, total patient-centered care approach. The Pearlie Harris Center for Breast Health will include full-field digital mammography, the only hospital breast imaging center in the area to offer this level of technology. Image checker computer-aided detection, providing a second level of scanning through the image checker CAD process. Breast MRI for superior imaging, and breast ultrasound. Now, some of you may be asking, who is Pearlie Harris? Well, the answer is she is the board chair of Bon Secours St. Francis Health System. But in her time, she has been much more than that. When asked about which of her accomplishments have been particularly meaningful to her, she replied, being asked to be chairwoman of the board at Bon Secours St. Francis, being named Catholic Woman of the Year for St. Mary's Church, the Piedmont Deanery, and then South Carolina, a big shock was being selected as one of the 25 most beautiful women in 2009, a complete shock for me. You can find out more about the Bon Secours St. Francis Health System's new Pearlie Harris Center for Breast Health and Pearlie Harris herself online. Just go to the Bon Secours St. Francis Health System in Greenville, South Carolina website and navigate to their news and events section. Well, that's it for this week. Stay tuned to this portal for future up-to-the-minute information on these and other stories on BSN Headline News. I'm Dave Schlachter. Thanks for joining us. BSN Headline News is a production of Bon Secours Productions and is solely responsible for its content.